Hello and welcome at our second section, Critical Tasks First. In this section we're going to take a look at how to configure automated system updates, how to configure strong password policy or even getting rid of passwords, and configuring a strong firewall. All these things I recommend for all systems. It doesn't matter if it's a test system which has no valuable data or if it's a high critical security system. These three items should be done for every single server and Linux workstation you have under your control. Configuring automated security updates. In this video I will show you why security updates are so important and the reason why they should be installed automatically. Also, it is important to install updates that are flagged for non-security updates, and I will show you why. And finally, how do we configure this on a Linux distribution? I hope you remember the following slides from the previous section. The top 3 ways how servers are hacked. Number 1, exploiting missing security patches. Number 2, guessing weak passwords and default accounts. And number 3, exploiting misconfigurations. In this video, we talk about security updates. And this concerns the first and most important item on how servers are hacked. If we always install security patches as they come available, we can mostly eliminate the high critical risk to our servers. You might be curious, how many security updates are there actually? How many security vulnerabilities are discovered? This is the statistic of all reported vulnerabilities in software, starting from year 2000 until 2018, where the total number of items of... I'll restart at this slide. You might be curious, how many security vulnerabilities are discovered in software? This chart shows the discovered vulnerabilities from year 2000 until 2018. As this video actually made in 2018, the number you will see on the top right is actually extrapolated, but should be fairly actual data. As you can see, in the last 2 years, about 45 vulnerabilities were discovered per day. Those concerning Linux, which is not only the kernel, or its software that is running on it, but also stuff like Oracle databases, MySQL databases, etc., which also can run on Linux. This concerns about 2 vulnerabilities per day for Linux operating systems. This means every day you would have to review 2 updates for your machine if they apply to every one of your servers and workstations you administrate. In this video, I made a point of installing the security updates automated. Doing this, there are pros and cons. Pro, you don't need to review every security patch to see if it affects any of your systems or not, so you save a lot of time. Also, you need no time to spend on distributing the patches and installing the patches. So the updates get to your systems much faster and reliable. On the other hand, an update can break a service. So your mail service, database, or a web service might not restart after the update. And if this is done automatically, then you're not on the keyboard watching if everything's going fine. I highly recommend activating automated update installation. For 2 reasons. A good Linux distribution will not break anything with updates. I've been working with Linux for over 10 years and having many servers. I'll restart at this slide. I recommend activating automated update installation for 2 reasons. First, good Linux distribution will not break anything with updates. I am administrating Linux servers and workstations for about 20 years. In these 20 years, it has never ever happened to me that the servers broke by just installing an update. Still, this could happen at some point, so it is a risk. If you want to control this risk further, You can buy update subscriptions from commercial Linux if necessary, if you really need that. For example, Red Hat Enterprise servers or Centos, they provide this service to be sure that an update doesn't break the server. But as I told you, I haven't seen that ever. Very important is this point. Not configuring automated security updates is a high risk. If you install security updates manually, first, on some days you might be ill or your colleagues might be ill, so nobody is checking on this day or this week if there's a security update. Then, you might make an error. You think, oh, this update doesn't concern my servers, but maybe it does. So, by not using automated security updates, you make yourself risk. You should always remember this point. Not configuring automated security updates is a high risk. Why is that? If you install updates manually, you can make errors. First, you might be ill or under high load, so you don't have the time to review security patches if they affect your servers. So, it might take time until you get the job done. And then your servers might already be compromised. Second, you might think, this update does not affect any of my servers, but it might. So, security updates might not get to a server which requires it. So, by not doing automated security updates, you increase your security risk. What about other updates? Updates that are not flagged as security updates. What many people don't know, I'll restart at this slide. What about other updates? Updates not flagged as security updates. What many people don't know, normal updates also contain sometimes security updates. Why is that? Sometimes a bug might fix a security issue, but it's not obvious that this is a security issue that could be exploited by an attacker. This could be, for example, a crash, which a developer fixes, actually would have been an exploitable buffer overflow. Or some developers are too proud to say, yeah, I made a security bug here and I fixed it. So they argue, no, this is just a stability or reliability fix. For that reason, you should always install all updates automatically. I will now show you how to enable automated updates on all the relevant Linux operating systems. Relevant are, for me, Debian, Ubuntu, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Centos, Fedora. There are, of course, other Linux operating systems. I can't cover them here because there are just too many. But these are the most common ones. If you have to install automated security updates on other Linux distributions, just look on the internet. This information is easy to find and should be very similar to what I'm showing you here. If you are on Debian up to version 8, which is called Jessie, or you are on Ubuntu, do the following task as a root user. First, you must install the packages to enable automated security updates. These packages are called unattended upgrades and apt list changes. After you've done that, there's just very little you really have to do. You just have to edit one file and that's it. And that is the ECC apt-confd 50 unattended upgrades file. And the lines should look like these I'm showing you here. Unattended upgrade allowed origins, the following 4 lines, and some further lines down, an entry unattended upgrade. There you have to put your email address. Now, how does this look like actually? Here we are on an Ubuntu 16.04 LTS server. Whenever you are installing a server, always use a Linux distribution which guarantees a minimum of 5 years of security updates for that version. You have that with Ubuntu 16.04 LTS, and you will have the same at the upcoming Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. LTS stands for long-term support. These are distributions which will receive updates for a really long time, and that is important for servers. Now, let's take a look at the config file. The etc apt-confd 50 unattended upgrades file. Already edited it to the values I recommended to you in the slide. All you have to do is to remove the comments for these 3 lines here. Normally they are commented out with double slashes, you just have to remove them. Also, if you scroll further down in the file, you uncomment the unattended upgrade mail configuration and input the account which should receive emails about the update process. That's it. For Debian 9, called stretch, this is changing. Also, the packages are still called the same. The configuration file has changed. Here the origins pattern has to be rewritten like that. Origin equals Debian, codename equals a placeholder for a distro codename, you can put it like that. And also the unattended upgrade mail configuration. If you are on Redhat Enterprise Linux or Centos or Fedora up to 21, as a root user, first you have to add the repository, if you haven't done that already, which is for Redhat, Subscription Manager, Repos Enable, and the server optional RPMs. For Centos, installing the Apple release, and afterwards installing yum cron package. The yum cron package is a cron job, so on a regular basis it's executing security updates. The checkconfig command enables this service so it is running. Configuring the update service is very simple. We just have to edit the etc sysconfig yum cron config file, set the mail-to variable to our email address, which should receive update information, and set the apply updates variable to yes, which is by default no. By default, it's just downloading updates, so they're already in place, but it's not installing the updates. It is important to automate install it, so we have to set the apply updates parameter to yes. And to start the update service, we still have to perform a systemctl start yum cron afterwards. In Fedora from version 22, this again changed a little bit. In Fedora from 22 on, there are different ways how you can install packages. Most common is the DNF tool. So DNF install dnf-automatic, added the etc dnf automatic.conf file, same as on Redhat, Centos and earlier Fedora versions, set apply updates to yes, and set the email to variable to your email address. Then you have to enable the dnf-automatic install timer and also start the service so it's already active. Sometimes you have software on your server that does not come from repositories, but you downloaded software yourself, maybe compiled it and installed it. This software will not get updated. So you watch, I'll restart that slide. When you have configured automated security updates, you always have to remember one thing. What about software you did not install from the repositories? Sometimes you have to download software from somewhere, clone a repository, download source code, compile and install it, and this might be then software that is not coming from the distribution repository. So you might not get automated updates for these. If this is the case, check if this software has a newsletter or announced mailing list that tells about security updates, If so, subscribe to these. And always watch the page if they have security updates or other updates available. These you have to download and install manually.